The radio gave him one warning. Don't stop tonight. He should have listened. Daniel Reeves had been driving night buses for almost 12 years. Long empty roads never scared him. Drunk passengers never scared him. Even the strange stories about Nevada's Route 66 never scared him. People talked about disappearances, drivers who vanished, passengers who were never found. But Daniel always laughed at those stories. To him, fear was just another thing people invented to survive lonely nights. That belief changed forever on October 18th, 2008. At exactly 1:47 a.m., Daniel started his final route of the night. The highway stretched endlessly through the desert. Cold wind hit the sides of the bus while weak headlights barely cut through the darkness ahead. Inside the bus, only 3 passengers remained. An old man sleeping near the middle, a college student wearing headphones, and a woman quietly reading a book near the front. The rest of the seats were empty. The silence felt heavy, almost unnatural. Daniel turned on the radio to break the tension, but only static answered him. Then suddenly, the radio whispered something, very softly. Don't stop tonight. Daniel frowned. The voice disappeared. Only static remained. He shook his head and kept driving. A few miles later, the road became stranger. The fog thickened. Road signs disappeared. Even the GPS signal vanished completely. That's when Daniel noticed something ahead. A bus stop. But it wasn't supposed to be there. He had driven this route hundreds of times. There was no stop in the middle of this desert. And yet, a woman stood there waiting. Tall, thin, wearing black clothes that moved gently in the wind. Her face was pale under the dim streetlight. Daniel slowed the bus. The moment he stopped, the old man inside suddenly woke up. His eyes widened in fear. Don't let her in, he whispered. Daniel turned toward him. What? But before the old man could answer, the bus door opened by itself. The woman stepped inside slowly. Every passenger became silent. Even the girl with headphones lowered them nervously. The woman didn't look at anyone. She walked directly to the last seat and sat down. Then she whispered softly, Don't look back while driving. Daniel forced a nervous laugh. Lady, you picked the wrong bus to be creepy on. No response. Only silence. The bus continued moving. Minutes passed. Then Daniel casually checked the rearview mirror. The last seat was empty, completely empty. Daniel blinked. Maybe she had moved. He quickly looked toward the back of the bus. Nothing. No woman. No movement. Suddenly, a cold breath touched his ear. I told you not to look back. Daniel nearly swerved off the road. He turned sharply behind him. Nobody was there, but the temperature inside the bus dropped instantly. Passengers began looking uncomfortable. The windows slowly fogged from the inside. Then the college student spoke quietly. Driver. Daniel looked at him through the mirror. The student pointed toward the back. There are more people on the bus now. Daniel's stomach tightened. Slowly, he looked into the mirror again. Every seat was occupied. Dozens of passengers now sat silently in darkness. Pale faces, still bodies. None of them had entered the bus. None of them blinked. Daniel slammed the brakes. The bus screeched violently across the highway. But the passengers didn't move. They simply stared at him, smiling. One of them tilted his head too far sideways. Bones cracked loudly. Another passenger slowly revealed black, empty eyes. The old man near the middle began praying under his breath. We're dead, he whispered repeatedly. Daniel grabbed the radio desperately. Dispatch, do you copy? Only static answered. Then a voice came through, cold, distorted. If they stand up, you die. The radio shut off instantly. At that exact moment, one passenger stood up slowly, then another, then another. Their movements looked wrong, like puppets controlled by invisible strings. Daniel pressed the accelerator harder. The engine screamed, but the speed stayed the same, 40 miles per hour. No matter what he did, the road outside became darker. No stars, no moon, no desert, only endless blackness surrounding the highway. The passengers began walking forward, step, 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 slowly moving closer to him. Their smiles widened unnaturally. Some mouths stretched too far. Some faces twitched violently. One woman carried something in her arms. As she came closer, Daniel realized it was a dead child. The bus lights flickered wildly. The student suddenly screamed. One of the passengers grabbed him. Its jaw opened impossibly wide. Then, the lights went out for 1 second. When they returned, the student was gone. Only blood remained on the seat. Daniel's hands shook uncontrollably. The old man stood up suddenly. "They collect souls from this road," he cried. Before Daniel could respond, something pulled the old man backward into darkness. His scream echoed through the bus. Then silence. Now only Daniel remained alive. The passengers stopped moving. All of them turned slowly toward the last seat. The pale woman was standing there again, smiling, her eyes completely black. She walked toward Daniel slowly. Every light inside the bus exploded one by one as she approached. Glass shattered everywhere. Daniel tried opening the door. Locked. Windows locked. Everything locked. The woman leaned close to his face, her smile stretched wider than humanly possible. "You were never supposed to stop tonight," she whispered. Daniel finally snapped. He grabbed the steering wheel and slammed the accelerator completely down. The bus roared forward through darkness. The passengers began screaming together, a sound so loud and unnatural that blood ran from Daniel's ears. Then suddenly, something massive appeared in front of the bus. Not human, not animal, just a giant shadow standing across the road. Daniel screamed and turned the wheel violently. The bus flipped, metal twisted, glass exploded. Darkness consumed everything. 3 days later, police discovered the bus abandoned deep in the Nevada desert. Engine still running. Every passenger missing. No blood, no bodies, nothing. Except Daniel. He sat silently in the last seat. Pale skin, motionless body. A horrifying smile frozen on his face. And his eyes completely black. When police touched his shoulder, Daniel whispered softly, "Don't look back while driving." Then all the bus lights turned off together, and Route 66 was closed for the rest of the night. But even today, some truck drivers still report seeing an old bus driving through the desert after midnight. No license plate, no driver visible. And sometimes, a pale woman waiting at a bus stop that does not exist.